Another conversation, especially the ladies that don't like to talk about too much, is coping with the aging process, right? We're all getting older except me.
Oh, no, I'm getting older. And every year I celebrate that birthday.
I refuse to get old, and I think that's what keeps me sane, right? Whatever works for you, right? Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Alexandra.
And I'm Jamie.
And together we're your hosts for Real Talk, where we're going to have some real, raw conversations.
Yes. Well, we're going to be breaking through those small talk barriers, and we are going to be talking raw conversations, discussions that are unfiltered.
That's right. We're going to tackle those taboo conversations, the ones that we typically shy away from. So we're going to talk from where? From mental health
to love, to societal norms. We're not going to talk about sex. That's not going to happen. Our journeys.
We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and a lot of other conversations. But we're not going to do this alone. We're going to have some great community members and community leaders. And we're going to have some really candid conversations.
Yeah, we're not going to scratch those surfaces. We're going to be digging down deep into it. And I know she's going to embarrass me and make me blush, but that's what this is all about.
That's right. So buckle up. We're going to have some real talk conversations, and we're going to have some laughter, aha moments, but we're just going to have a great time. So welcome to Real Talk.
Yep. Buckle up, Buttercup. Never know what's going to happen here.
That's right. So again, my name is Alexandra, and I'm so honored to be here on our second podcast. Very exciting. We had a great time at the last one. If you didn't catch it, check out our YouTube page, Real Talk Long Island. We had Emily Alvarado from El Matador. She does so much great work, not just at her restaurant that she co-owns with her dad, but in that Patchogue area. So hello, Emily, if you're catching us today, hello, and I hope you're doing well. And we also spoke about vision boards, New Year's resolutions. So Jamie, did you make a dent or not yet?
No.
Not yet. All right.
And I don't even know if this is going to be the year. I'm not going to put that pressure on myself.
Oh, so already we're failing already because you say you don't know.
There is no failure.
We have to make a dent, right? When it comes to our vision, when it comes to our goals, it's about us fulfilling our goals, making us happy. So when we yell Happy New Year again, we feel like we made a dent. And again, if you're hesitant about putting a vision board together because you're like, why am I going to do this? It's too much work. If it's too easy, anyone can do it, right? Let's get that straight.
Then if it's too easy.
let's put some goals. All our viewers and all our listeners, I'm gonna put un reto, right? Put three goals on a paper. Put those action steps. And let's make a difference. Make a difference, maybe not in the community, but make a difference in your lives. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I think that's good. And I actually have put down 3 goals, and I did put down the steps this year. I didn't do a vision board, but I have a piece of paper, and I have people that are holding me accountable. You're one of them. Sydney Rodriguez is one of them. The NARA board is another one. So there's people that are keeping me accountable.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So today's topic, we're going to have some amazing guests, and I'm very excited because one of them is also a past honoree for Flutterflies, Eliana Fajardo, amazing leader. I love it because she's come such a long way. So I met her probably 5 or 6 years ago, and you would think I know her for a lifetime. She has done amazing work. One of the things that I love is her first language, Spanish, but she now tackles on English like that's her first language. So I am so proud of her because I remember going to some type of meeting we had at Jake's 58. We had a leadership meeting, and she got nervous because she had to speak in English. She got emotional. But then I don't know what happened. She did a 360, and let me tell you, she tackles on that English. She is not shy about it. Love her. But she's going to be also sharing some tax tips. Tax season's right around the corner.
Oh, please, let's not talk about taxes.
So Eliana's
no sex, no taxes.
So listen, Eliana's going to give some tips, right?
Okay.
We have to get our paperwork ready, especially for those business owners. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Where do you need help? So I love that she's going to be joining us. And like I mentioned, a past Flutterflies honoree. And we also have another guest.
We have Tammy Brown. She's an amazing young woman. I have to tell you, there's not too much that she doesn't do, but she is a boxing coach and she's a woman. She is also a personal trainer for people who have disabilities. So she's taken people who weren't able to do and move and thought they could never achieve gym things, and she's been able to help them get there. In addition to that, she had a friend, and she's going to tell you about it, who had committed suicide, and she took something tragic and turned it into something beautiful. She has an organization, a nonprofit by the name of Keep Fighting. Awesome. And besides, my grandkids love her. That's the most important for me. Sorry.
That's awesome. So we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with Eliana and Tammy. Stay tuned.
Detonando en todas las zonas. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. La verdadera patrona. Dale play a tu bocina.
Welcome back. Thank you for being here today. Alex, you're going to take it from here?
Oh, absolutely. Welcome back to our second podcast. We're excited. We have some amazing guests. We have Eliana and Tammy. They're going to share a little bit about their world, their story, their journey. But before we do, let me just briefly introduce them. So we have Eliana Fajardo. Eliana, dame un saludito ahí.
Muchas gracias por la invitación. Soy muy orgullosa porque creo que este es uno de los primeros, ¿verdad? Entonces me siento muy importante. Muchas gracias por la invitación.
No, un placer de tenerte y sé que vas a darnos unos consejos ahora que ya los taxes están a la vuelta, pues ya vamos a seguir hablando de eso, ¿verdad?
Sí, seguro.
And then we also have Tammy Brown.
We have Tammy Brown here. Tammy, you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days? Just a quick...
My name is Tammy Brown, and I am a boxing coach.
I know, and she's a woman. Isn't that amazing?
I'm going to tell you something really quick. You know that I took boxing classes, and actually, like, if you look me up, I have a record. I did it for a fundraiser. About 12, 15 years ago, there was an organization out, I want to say Melville, something. It was for children with disabilities.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't LA Kids.
And had to get in the ring and everything. So my name was La Asesina. Don't be trying. Let me just put something out there. Don't be trying to pick fights with me like she thinks she's bad.
I'm not saying that. She burst bubbles and
that was not it. It was a nice experience because I liked the training, but I would never do it again.
You know what? And I give you credit. Not a lot of people step in the ring. Not a lot of people take on that challenge. And for you to do that and put yourself through that means that you can put yourself pretty much through almost anything.
Thank you. But I'll tell you something funny about it. When we were doing it, it was a fundraiser. So they told us ahead of time, like, you know, when you go in the ring, it's really to put on a show, even though we were trained. But then I had two guys in my corner that I met that day. And they were Latinos. So they were like, mira, cuando tú te metas, like, dale. And you're like, you seeing the people, you're like, oh. So when I got in there, I was like, all right, I got to fight. You know? It was very exciting. Never do it again.
That's when the fight flight.
No, I need to learn because Edwin, one day, I'm going to have to be able to box him. He's 12 now, my grandson.
But I love to ask icebreaker questions. So, Eliana, si tú ves esa Eliana jovencita, niña, ¿qué consejo tú le das a ella ahora que tú eres ya mujer? ¿Qué consejo tú le dieras a esa niña?
Wow, qué pregunta tan linda. Bueno, aquí me estoy visualizando, de hecho. Bueno, ¿qué le diría yo? Que siga así de fuerte, que siga todo lo que quiere, porque de verdad que uno de niño quiere hacer muchas cosas, pero desafortunadamente cuando llegamos a la época de adultez nos olvidamos de todo eso. Entonces yo le digo a la niña, la abrazo y le digo, siga todos sus sueños, no le dé miedo, porque tú lo puedes lograr.
Qué lindo. Gracias, Eliana. Muy, muy bonito. Tammy, same question. You see your younger self. What piece of advice would you give her?
Life gets better. As I got older, I realized how much better it could be, and self-preservation kept making me feel like I wasn't going to ever get anywhere, and it gets better, you know?
It does, and it does get better.
It's funny you asked this question because I just put on Facebook recently, a couple weeks ago, about a picture of me when I was a little girl, and I said, if I could go back and talk to that little girl, I would tell her, it's going to be okay.
I think I'm right with you. I think I would look at that little girl and tell them that everything's going to be okay. And we have to reassure ourselves. And I think it's important for us to look in the mirror every once in a while and see our inner child, because we learned that a while ago. Look at that inner child and let her know that it's okay, forgive her. And it's such a beautiful thing to do. So my advice, look at that inner child and forgive yourself and let yourself know it's okay. But we have two amazing guests. We have Eliana, we have Tammy. We're going to get to know them a bit more. What are they doing in the community? What are they doing as women, empowered women? So, Jamie, I think we're going to take a break and we'll learn more.
Yep, let's go to this music today.
Awesome.
Apúrese, vecina, que solo goza el que se arrima. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Dale play a tu bocina.
Welcome back to Real Talk. We're here with some special guests. We're here with Eliana Fajardo and Tammy Brown, and we're going to get to know them a little bit more. So, primero vamos a empezar con Eliana Fajardo. Eliana, además de ser ahora una líder en la comunidad, cuéntanos un poquito más de Eliana Fajardo.
Bueno, Eliana Fajardo es madre de 2 niños, quienes son el motor, ¿verdad? Son los que me hacen levantar todas las mañanas a seguir nuestros sueños. Bueno, soy esposa, hija, soy muy afortunada que vivo con mi madre. Bueno, como profesión, contadora, es lo que he hecho por toda la vida, desde que era niña, desde que mi mamá tenía su tiendita de empanadas. Y eso es lo que yo me dedico, a ayudar a los empresarios a organizar las finanzas. Porque yo digo que la contabilidad, por ejemplo, es la columna vertebral de un negocio. Si tú no tienes la contabilidad organizada, tú no sabes para dónde vas, no sabes qué debes, no sabes las proyecciones. Eso es lo que me gusta. Y déjame que esta es una de mis metas este año, cambiar las finanzas de los empresarios. Super. Y quiero dejarlo como en papel. Quiero que nos vamos a lo digital. Esa es una de mis metas. Empecé incluso hace ya un año trabajando. Ya muchos de mis clientes, digamos, los he pasado online y sigo avanzando porque es muy importante tener las finanzas al día para saber qué tienes, qué debes, dónde vas, para dónde vas.
Así es. Eliana, nos conocemos ya como unos 5 o 6 años, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Y nos conocimos porque íbamos a un taller con Blanca García, que estaba ella empezando lo de... no era Revive para ese tiempo.
No, creo que era Public Speaking.
Public Speaking, exactamente. Y ahí fue que... Por eso hablamos tanto ahora. Gracias a Blanca García y a Andrés. Pero aquella Eliana que yo me acuerdo... más calladita, más reservada, siempre súper humilde. Y la Eliana que veo hoy, líder, ya con una escuela también de taxes, se llama La Leona. Cuando ella fue public speaking, hasta se vistió como leona para que vea ese poder que tiene esa leona. Cuando tú te ves, la Eliana de hace 5 o 6 años, y te miras ahora, ¿qué te dices?
Wow, uy, Eliana. Bueno, creo que Dios todo lo pone en su momento, pero yo digo, wow, Eliana, digamos, entre comillas, ¿qué tiempo hemos desperdiciado, no? Entonces yo digo, ¿por qué no me desperté antes? Porque de hecho de ahí nace la leona. Yo dije una vez, y se despertó la leona, y eso hizo un clic, y desde ahí por eso la leona. Entonces yo digo, wow, si yo hubiera empezado años atrás, a mucha gente que hubiéramos ya ayudado.
No estoy de acuerdo.
Ok. Tampoco.
Creo que todos tenemos que pasar ese proceso. Por ejemplo, yo estuve en una relación, yo lo tengo en el libro, ¿verdad? Una relación súper tóxica. Tuvimos 16 años y hubo un tiempo que yo decía, cónchale, si yo hubiese despertado antes, no hubiese perdido tanto tiempo, quizás me hubiese casado, Pero no, porque yo tuve que sufrir, llorar para aprender las lecciones. Y yo creo que todos tenemos ese proceso. Y a veces no entendemos por qué, pero cuando uno ya está en un sitio, ya yo me siento más tranquila, con más paz. ¿El mundo es perfecto? No. ¿Mi vida es perfecta? No, ¿verdad? Todavía no soy millonaria, no me he casado, pero no necesito esas cosas. Creo que tenemos que pasar ese proceso. Y yo sé un poquito más de tu proceso y creo, ¿verdad? Hemos pasado algo súper difícil, ¿verdad? Pero me encanta, primero es que, como te dije en la graduación que tuvieron, tu familia. Hector, Ashley, Anthony, una familia tan linda, tan unida, te apoyan en todo. Y creo que si tú no hubieses pasado ese proceso, no, como que no hubiese llegado. Porque yo hubiese dicho, me hubiese conocido, pero quién sabe, ¿verdad?
No, total, exactamente. Y es eso, muy cierto lo que tú dices, es pasar ese proceso, porque si no sanamos, digamos, empezando por las heridas
ahí está.
personales, si no sanamos las heridas, ningún proyecto, ningún negocio sale adelante, de verdad.
Y no
Tienes
sé
razón.
qué crees usted, pero para mí todo es el tiempo de Dios.
Total.
Dios, nosotros queremos estar corriendo y el Dios nos dice, no, todavía.
Así es.
Así es.
So, Eliana, hablamos en el primer podcast del Vision Board. Y sé que usted participó el año pasado en el Vision Board y me contó recientemente que lo que usted puso se hizo realidad y el día de la graduación era exactamente un año. Cuéntanos un poquito.
Así es, bueno, gracias a Alexandra, por cierto, ella es fundadora de Flutterflies, cada año hace lo del Vision Board. Entonces recuerdo que el año pasado yo fui y yo tenía algo en mi mente, pero no lo tenía ya todavía muy claro. Ese día yo dije, bueno, este va a ser mi focus, y entonces yo lo que hice en mi Vision Board fue acerca de una escuela, que es lo que yo siempre he soñado desde pequeña, ser educadora. Entonces yo creí, hice un building, que para allá vamos, yo sé que sí. Hice un building y le puse el nombre de la escuela, puse muchos alumnos, puse unos colegas míos que me iban a ayudar, y ese fue ese focus, y claro, es hacer el Vision Board y enfocarme y trabajar qué hacer para que eso se logre. Porque si lo hacemos y no hacemos nada, ahí se va a quedar. Y bueno, pasó así, abrí la escuela, se registraron alumnos, todos los domingos hacíamos las clases y 21 alumnos se registraron. Entonces el domingo pasado justo fue la graduación. Los invité y una noche antes, alistando todas mis cosas, cuando vi, porque yo lo tengo en la pared de mi casa como un adorno más de mi hogar. Cuando lo vi y yo dije, wow, me lo voy a llevar. Y cuando vi la fecha, yo dije, enero 14 del 2023. Y el domingo fue enero 14 del 2024, un año exactamente. Wow. Entonces, eso se logró lo que yo plasmé en el Vision Board, lo logré. Trabajé duro, claro que sí, pero lo logré. O sea que eso es lo que nos queda, que cuando tú tienes algo, lo planificas, lo tienes allí, trabajas, y si lo tienes materializado en fotos, en la pared, se te hace más realidad porque tú lo estás viendo. Como alguien dijo, yo quiero perder peso, veo ese vestido que me va a quedar, y así sucesivamente yo pienso que son todo lo que nos proponemos.
Así es. Soy Eliana. Ya los taxes están a la vuelta, ¿verdad? ¿Cuándo empezamos ya con los taxes? ¿El mundo de los taxes?
Bueno, el IRS realmente abre el enero 29, pero si ya las personas están listas, de hecho yo ya he ayudado, ya algunas personas han llenado los taxes porque ya están listos, ¿verdad? Pero ¿qué pasa? Cuando uno los manda electrónico, se quedan allí estancaditos. Cuando el IRS, ¡prum!, abre la puerta el 29, entonces ahí es donde empieza el IRS a empezar a procesar los impuestos.
Okay. So, queremos saber, nos vas a ayudar, ¿cuáles son algunos consejos, algunos tips que usted nos puede dar ahora que estamos entrando a la época de los taxes?
Bueno, primero que todo, yo le quiero decir a ustedes, los dueños de negocios que tienen, hay algo nuevo que a lo mejor no se escucha mucho, a lo mejor sí. Entonces es algo que se llama la ley de la transparencia corporativa. Esto no se hace con el IRS, esto se hace con FinCEN. FinCEN es una organización de Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. O sea que FinCEN colabora con todas las organizaciones gubernamentales. Esto es para tanto a nivel nacional e internacional. Y con el fin de acabar con las finanzas ilícitas. O sea que, ¿qué pasa? Hay un reporte que somos obligados, todos los dueños de negocio, que tengan una corporación, que tengan una small corporation, que tengan una LLC, que tengan una compañía abierta antes de enero 1 del 2024, tenemos un año, o sea, hasta enero 1 del 25, tenemos plazo para llenar un reporte. Y ese reporte es como para revelar la identidad. ¿Quiénes son los dueños? ¿Qué porcentaje tienes en la compañía? ¿Tienes de pronto quién es el que toma decisiones? ¿Tienes control? Porque hay muchas personas que abren una empresa y alguien le ayuda, o sea, alguien se presta para que esa persona abra una empresa y la otra persona la trabaja. Entonces allí es donde se desnuda todo eso, saber quiénes son los dueños. Y es una obligación. El que no lo haga, bueno, y de pronto las empresas nuevas que nacen de 1 de enero del 2024 tienen solo 90 días para llenar ese reporte. Las anteriores, 1 año. Pero ¿qué pasa? Si no lo hago, se me olvida. Bueno, creo que hay una penalidad y bien grande que son $500 diarios.
Wow.
Llega hasta $10,000 diarios. Llega hasta $10,000 la penalidad. 500 diarios. O sea que tú que tienes un negocio y lo tienes registrado en la entidad de tus estados, eso hay que hacerlo porque es bien serio. Ahora, si de pronto llegas a hacer algo fraudulento, porque ¿qué pasa? Allí necesitamos llevar la licencia o el pasaporte de la persona. Si de pronto alguien dice, bueno, yo tengo un pasaporte fraudulento, qué sé yo, también tiene cárcel, hasta 2 años de cárcel puedes tener la persona.
Wow.
Entonces, acabar con esos negocios ilícitos que me parece excelente, porque es que desafortunadamente hay muchas personas que se prestan para todo esto y es eso, ya nos tienen en la mira, o sea que poco a poco se va acabando, vamos llegando a todas esas partes ilícitas.
Wow, súper, me encantó la información.
Tengo una preguntita. Mucha la gente con quien yo estoy sirviendo cuando trabajo en mi trabajo normal son sin documentos. Yo sé la contestación, pero quiero escuchar de usted. Los que están trabajando y se coge su W4, no sé qué, pero ellos están trabajando y no tienen documentos, ¿sí o no pueden hacer los impuestos?
Bueno, desafortunadamente, claro, hay muchas personas que todavía no tienen su estatus legal y necesitan trabajar. ¿Cómo consiguen un social? No sé, pero trabajan y tienen un W2. Claro está que están obligados a presentar sus impuestos con ese documento. Entonces eso incluso les sirve para que la persona pida un ITIN, al menos ya, y muy importante, hay personas aquí desafortunadamente que por falta de información se cambian el nombre porque el vecino, el amigo le dijo, mira, póntete otro nombre. Entonces eso ya sí es un delito porque es robo de identidad. O sea que si tú trabajas con un número que sea, mucha gente se inventa un número porque quiere trabajar. O sea que muchas veces no es como tildarlos, porque las personas necesitan trabajar y buscan sus formas. Entonces, si lo han hecho de esa forma, lo más correcto es que hagan sus impuestos y pidan un ITIN para que así ya tenga una identidad con ellos.
Está bueno. Y sabes que como yo sabía hacer los formularios por la inmigración antes, ese archivado, los taxes, ayuda muchas veces de pruebas que estaban aquí.
Total, y mira, y hay muchos, yo por lo menos personalmente tengo muchos clientes y cuando digo tienen negocios, son muy buenos negocios y millonarios, digamos, podría decir, y no tienen el estatus legal, o sea que eso no nos impide aquí incluso abrir un negocio. Con un ITIN tú puedes tener un negocio.
Súper, me encantó toda esta información. Sé que con usted podemos estar aquí todo el podcast hablando, muy importante, pero Eliana, vas a seguir con nosotros, vamos a tener otra conversación, pero si alguien necesita ayuda, ¿cómo se conectan con usted?
Bueno, la oficina de nosotros estamos en Japa, puedes ir a las redes sociales, me buscas como Eliana Fajardo o simplemente como Taxes and Business Solution, allí nos encuentran, o al 631-2288-911.
Y Eliana sabe que tiene toda mi confianza. Flutterflies está con usted también. Siempre vamos a usted para cualquier pregunta con los taxes. Y además de usted preparar taxes, muy importante, quiero que los sepan nuestro público. Usted tiene un título donde, ejemplo, yo necesitaba mucha ayuda con los taxes míos porque el ex accountant mío me hizo un revolú, ¿verdad? Usted tiene un título donde usted puede llamar o ser parte, como llamar al IRS, ¿correcto?
Así es. Yo soy Enroll Agent. ¿Qué es la licencia de Enroll Agent? Es una licencia federal que me permite representar a los dueños de negocio de las personas en los 50 estados para ser tu vocera ante el IRS, pelear por ti, porque eso se trata, ser justos. No quiere decir que porque lo vamos a representar estamos a favor del IRS. No, nosotros estamos a favor de ti, claro, si es lo que se debe hacer. E incluso ayudamos también con tax resolution. ¿Qué es tax resolution? esas cartas espantosas que llegan, esas deudas. Hay muchas personas que deben mucho, no porque quieren, sino porque se enfermaron, cualquier eventualidad. Entonces allí donde entramos a hacer una resolución para negociar con el IRS, si hay perdonar deudas, si es que calificas, ¿no?
Claro.
Hacer una oferta en compromiso. Son muchas las cosas que entran en la parte, o sea que realmente los taxes no es ir a hacer la W2 y ya, es mucho más allá para ayudar a la comunidad.
Qué bueno. Súper
Gracias,
bueno.
Eliana. Gracias por toda esa información y vamos a seguir conversando, pero vamos a coger un pequeño receso y regresamos y seguimos hablando at Real Talk.
La que más suena en todos los bloques. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Pa' que no te equivoques.
Welcome back to Real Talk. We have some really great guests today. We heard a lot about taxes from Eliana Fajardo, and Alex is laughing at me because every time there's a loud music, I jump. And now we have Tammy Brown like the color. Tammy, what do you do? Just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I teach boxing. It's a very interesting thing because I don't just teach regular people. I teach a different variety of people. So I don't like to call it special needs, but more all abilities because it's not a special thing. I think it's
that.
It's more like they have a different ability, but some of their abilities the other way are a lot stronger than ours, right? So
Awesome.
I like to call it all abilities. I do something with my personal training that's called adaptive training. So basically I adapt to you whether you have injuries or anything like that, and obviously any kind of special need. So
Is there someone, one of your clients, because you've told me about a couple of your clients, one of your clients that has exceeded your expectations?
yeah, so I do cerebral palsy. I don't know if you know what cerebral palsy is, but a little bit of it is the muscle-mind connection pretty much. So I have a client who is severely cerebral palsy. She's in a wheelchair. She does not walk at all. One of our goals was to get her to be able to walk down the stage for graduation. She graduated from Adelphi with a psychology degree, I want to say, or social services, something like that. But yeah, and so throughout that process, no one's ever taught her how to walk. No one's even let her feet touch the ground. And I was able to push the limit, right? That's what I like to call it, and teach her how to just even put her feet on the ground and then to be able to walk. And it's still a journey, but it's been really interesting to see someone who no one ever thought would even do something like that, be able to do something.
So what was her first reaction when her feet touched the ground and she actually felt the ground?
And she was like, wow, I never knew what that felt like. It was a very funny moment, I guess, for us. I like to laugh a lot, so during our sessions, we're like making fun of the things that's happening more or less than actually like creating a problem with it.
That's great. So, by the way, Tammy has my heart because my grandchildren, you're going to hear about my grandchildren a lot on Real Talk because I'm keeping it real, that they're the most, well, they're very important to me. So, Tammy, can you tell us also what you do at Fusion?
Yeah, so at Fusion, Kickboxing, and MMA, I have a special needs program. And then I also have another gym called New York Fitness and Boxing, and I teach a fight team there. So I do youth fighters. They fight for USA Boxing on the amateur scene. And I chose that age because I really thought that those were the years that I really needed mental health guidance, where no one else was really kind of pushing that moment. But I felt like those ages, those were when you learned healthy coping mechanisms and that you were going to use in your adult life.
So now you've told me something about endorphins, and you're better explaining it. And then instead of using antidepressants, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I also own a nonprofit called Keep Fighting. And what Keep Fighting does is we support the mental health community and athletes. So we talk a lot about what that actually does. And so when you work out, every time you work out, your body produces something called a positive endorphin, And when your body's producing that, it then becomes an antidepressant without a side effect. So think about this. Every time you work out, you're actually taking an antidepressant. So that's why a lot of people, when they stop working out, get depressed, because they're taking that antidepressant away from what they usually are producing in their body.
I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because when I haven't been working out for a very long time, and I feel it in my bones. I feel like I'm aging. But once I start doing, it can be a 10-minute workout. like my attitude changes. So I agree 100%.
It's
Yeah.
funny. Last night, Alex is like trying to call me, and I said, "Well, I'm at the gym. I'm sorry. I'll call you back later." And it gets to the point where it makes me feel good.
Yeah. And so, like, to get on your granddaughter, right? So, like, it was funny you asked that question today about what you would tell your younger self, because I posted a video of her hitting pads, and I was like, think about this and what you would tell the little girl in yourself. And so I thought that was pretty cool that you asked that question.
Yeah, my Sky, she's a pip.
So what ages can individuals go to? Is it just young children?
So I do anywhere from 4 years old. I had a 99-year-old woman. It was the coolest
awesome.
thing.
That's great.
She had a pop on her punch. I was afraid to run into her in the alley. So any age group, I specialize with kids just because that's like the years that I want to be a part of someone's life with this kind of stuff. Like, that's why I told you that when you told me about the fact that you did a fight, like, for someone to push themselves and really go through the emotions of boxing and the emotional part of it and still be able to go out there and have a good time, that put you through some mental health troubles that you probably didn't even think you had, or push you through moments where you were like, hey, if I can do this, I can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. I'll let you know that right now. It was a great experience, but that's it. I can say I did it, and that's it. But I've always liked boxing. I enjoy watching it. If I would have the opportunity to see it live, I would go. But I have the utmost respect for boxers.
Now, it's funny. You just said something before about you do things with people and, about getting over the mental health issues. Tell us why you started your nonprofit.
So my nonprofit, Keep Fighting, is in memory of Ariel Jarena. She was my best friend. She committed suicide about 8 years ago, and it was during my fight camp. I'll never forget it. And it was the moment where I realized it was time to take control over my own. And through that moment of learning how to control and gain that confidence and that knowledge of, like, mental health in its own, right? And a lot of people don't even think about it. Everybody gets up, they go to work, they pay bills, they take care of their children. But what do they do for themselves? So Keep Fighting, and ideally I wanted to be able to help people in their mental health journeys and support them through sport, through fitness, and also through, like, speaking to somebody. You don't realize how much just talking to somebody really changes the momentum of how you're feeling.
Absolutely.
I agree. So, what do you do once a year? How do you get sponsorship?
Yeah.
How do you get funds in for Keep Fighting?
So every year on Ariel's birthday, or around Ariel's birthday, it's never on her birthday because I can never find the date to work, but every year around her birthday, I do a celebration of her life. We host a gala. It's a really important thing to me to, like, set the feel of it, right? How it's going to feel when you walk in. You look good, you feel like everything is going to be okay. So that's why I host a gala instead of anything else. I feel like when you hear the word gala, you think pretty hair, like, nice gowns, people really looking and feeling their best. So that's how I get a bulk of the donations that we use throughout the year. I do a couple other fundraisers, but we send a lot of people up to Olympic trials just recently, so that 2 girls, they got to fulfill their dreams. One of them is actually going to be in the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Wow, I got goosebumps now.
So,
And
yeah.
where do you hold the gala? About what time what month?
In November, so October, November. It's a lot of mental health, like, moments in those months, and they're all centered to, like, again, mental health and how important it is in life, because everybody needs a little bit of that,
That's awesome.
And this year you had a little bit of a different uptake in something you never had before.
Yes, right. So I got really lucky to meet Jamie before that, and our stories connect through her grandchildren. And so she actually helped us get proclamations for our honorees. That was a first for me. I
Nice.
never got to give that, and that was really exciting. They were so excited. I see them
awesome.
in their offices and stuff like that as we go along. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there was a Congressman Loloda.
Loloda, yeah.
And Vinny Pilio. Oh my goodness. The Suffolk County Clerk is on every show now. We're going to have to get him on here.
And when you guys gave me one for Keep Fighting, I was crying because I couldn't believe that I got to see that on something so special, right? That piece of paper, even though it was just a piece of paper, it was so special to just see her name and just keep reminding people like who she was and like how important that one person could be in your life, because you never really realize how much your one hello or how much your one moment of a smile can change someone's tempo of their lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you were talking to Tammy, the little girl, right now, what would you tell her?
I would tell her that don't worry about things. I spent a lot of time worrying about where I was going to be, where I came from, my upbringing, how important all these things were. And honestly, I realized that like the more I put into myself, the more I believed in myself, the more I was able to accomplish. Sometimes I feel like it's a lot more than I expected.
So someone old like me, what are we going to do?
Oh, like we could do whatever you like.
Wait a second.
But like with someone like you, I would put you on a regimen of just showing up, right? A lot of people just don't realize how important it is to just show up. And every day when you're working out at the gym, you're showing up for yourself, but you're also working out to work on yourself, right? And mental and physical health, they go together no matter how much you want to not admit that, but they go together. And so when you look good and you feel good, and your brain is in a good place, everything seems to seem better, though. The world gets colorful instead of black and white.
Totally agree.
I love it. And I love that you talk about mental health, because that's another conversation that is not spoken about enough. I know on Flutterflies Wings of Empowerment, we're aiming to talk more about mental health, and definitely keeping busy, keeping occupied, keeping your mind positive, working out. Those are steps that can help with mental health. Self-care is definitely important. So I my hat's off to you, because you're doing amazing work.
Thank you so much.
I have to tell you, it's so nice to see that it's open and talked about now, because when I was 10 years old, I had a cousin commit suicide. She was 21. And to this day, it still affects me. So the fact that we are now talking about these real subjects, that people just sometimes feel so hopeless that they think taking their lives without thinking about the consequences and the effects it's going to have on everyone else. So these conversations are the ones that I think are going to help those people.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like mental health is not really talked about a lot, especially not even just in mothers. I read a book, it was What Happened to You, and it talked about growing up in those first 10 months of being born, and how if your mom's not mentally healthy, that then she can push on anxiety and depression onto you without even realizing it. Wow. Because she's not doing enough for herself. Or for instance, the dad who goes to work every day and provides for the family, no one ever asks, hey, are you okay? Is everything going great in your day? And it became a thing where I realized it was in everyone. It wasn't just in me. It wasn't just in the product of my environment. It was exactly anyone that I spoke to.
That's pretty funny, because Sergio calls me every day, a couple times a day. Is everything okay? How's it going? And I ask him, is everything okay? How's it going? And without even realizing it, it's really a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to just keep doing it. I'll talk about this, but we're not talking about sex. I think it's almost time for us to go for a break.
Oh my! I think you want to talk about sex, 'cause you're the only one bringing it up. I'm keeping it real right now.
I'm going to keep it real. That I'm
Jamie Hetchman Ulloa quiere hablar de sex.
No. I'm just doing it just to be a scutch now. All right, everyone. I think it's time for us to take a break. Tammy, thanks so much for being with us, and thanks. How do we get in touch with you?
You can go to keep / I guess it's a line this way, fighting.org, and you can see all the things we do, the athletes we sponsor through mental health. We call them mental health athletes, but that's what you'll see. And you could also reach me at k33p.fighting on Instagram, and then my own personal coach, tmz.com as well.
That's great. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being with us today. And I think it's time for the music.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Atención terrícolas. Atención terrícolas. Nos fuimos a otra galaxia con Latino Mixx.
Welcome back to Real Talk. An exciting podcast, very informative. We have Eliana Fajardo and Tammy Brown. We've talked a little bit about a lot of stuff, right? We talk about taxes, especially for our business owners. Get your in order, okay? Definitely, we talked about mental health. Mental health, very important. It shouldn't be a taboo conversation. And mental health, I think one of the things that we didn't talk about, Tammy, and I would love to have you back on the program, is sometimes people hear mental health and automatically it's, because you think I'm crazy. Because I need to be on medication. And it's not about that.
It's not about that at all.
It's not really about prevention. You know, I think we have to have those conversations ahead of time to prevent. But now, another conversation, especially the ladies that don't like to talk about too much, is coping with the aging process, right? We're all getting older, except me.
Oh, no, I'm getting older. And every year I celebrate that birthday.
I refuse to get old, and I think that's what keeps me sane, right? Whatever works for you, right? But I would love to talk a little bit about how do you look at aging? What are your secrets? Maybe you have some beauty secrets that you want to share with us. So I'm going to start first with the first question is, do you guys celebrate birthdays? ¿Celebran cumpleaños?
Yep.
Eliana.
Bueno, realmente sí, en la casa. No lo hago como una gran fiesta, pero sí comemos en la casa, el pastel que no puede faltar. Y bueno, mi cumpleaños es marzo 15. Como yo soy contadora, trabajo en los taxes y ese día, marzo 15, es crucial para algunos dueños de negocio, especialmente los que tienen corporaciones que ese es el día que se vence. Entonces, si no se hace ese día, la penalidad es bien grande. Entonces, bueno, prácticamente ese día yo trabajo, pero claro que sí celebramos en casa.
Okay, she celebrates in her home. And because of her business, you know, she does taxes. March 15th is a big date, especially for business owners. So I want to keep her busy because she does my Flutterflies account. So definitely, you know, let her stay focused and she'll celebrate later on. How about you, Tammy? Do you celebrate birthdays?
I do. I celebrate my birthday every year in a big deal, I know. But it's because like 1 year is fast. You don't even realize it. And you don't realize that in that 1 year, what could you accomplish? So I celebrate my birthday, but I also celebrate my accomplishments for the years.
Awesome. I love that. And how about you, Jamie?
I celebrate my birthday, especially since I turned 58. In my mother's side of the family, only 3 women have lived past 58. My mother, her sister, and myself. So every year there's a birthday celebration, and my husband knows there better be roses, and he spoils me, but we definitely celebrate birthdays in our house.
So I celebrate birthdays. I love birthdays. As a child, I remember having these big birthday parties. I make sure I don't wait for anyone to throw me. Every 5th birthday, I throw myself a party. I don't wait for anyone to do it. Plus, they're not going to do it the way I want it. So it's a control thing as well. But I love birthdays.
I know we're talking about aging, but we're talking about birthdays. Quickly, I just want to bring out that we do have something with Wings of Empowerment where we have birthday boxes. So that you said, what sparked it to me is you said about the children. It's so important for children to feel loved and have that birthday celebration so that they feel that that's their special day. And if there is someone out there who doesn't have the ability to give a birthday to their child, reach out to us so that we can make sure that they're part of that program.
That's pretty
Absolutely. So let me flip the question just a tad. Do you look forward to your birthday? Are you like, yes, in 2 months is my birthday. I'm going to get a year older. Or you like, holy shit, I am turning 50, I'm turning 30, oh my God, I'm turning 60. Do you have that anxiety? So I'll share, I had a friend, well, we're still friends, we're just not connected as much as when she was turning 30, you would think she was turning 100. It was like, oh my gosh, she's turning 30. And when I was turning 30, I'm like, yeah, like, whatever. I think it doesn't bother me since I turned 50, but I'm more like, oh shit, like in 10 years I'm going to be 60, and in 10 years but to me, it doesn't bother me that I'm getting older. It's that I know my clock is ticking. So to me, I've always said I'm going to live to 100. So I'm like, holy smoke, I only have 47 years more. And it's the death thing that bothers me. I have to deal with that. So how do you guys feel about that?
I am so glad to celebrate my birthdays. I will be 60 this year, and I am just looking forward. But yes, recently it did come to my mind. My husband and I were discussing our future, and we turned around and we looked at each other and we said, my father died at 57. Your parents died in their 60s. Are we going to have more than 10 years left?
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, we started to think about it, and it really is. I'm not going to let it get me down, so I'm going to live every day I can and celebrate every day because it's a gift. But yeah, you start looking at it and go, And one of my children turned around to me and said, you know what? You're there for my grandkids, Edwin and Sky, but I don't have children yet. When I have children, she made me cry. Every time I think about this, she goes, are you going to be there, Mommy? And I'm like, I'll talk to the man upstairs. When God tells me I'm gonna be here as long as He wants me here, because I'm gonna keep fighting.
Yeah, there you go. So with aging, our bodies start changing. Nuestro cuerpo empieza a cambiar. We're not as fast as we used to. I haven't been working out, which I shared earlier. So my balance is off. So I know it's important to stay active, right? So do you do anything, Eliana? ¿Usted hace algo físicamente o mentalmente, emocionalmente para seguir sintiéndose joven?
Ale, me hiciste reír porque justo en mi casa hay unos calores, pero es en mi lado nomás, ¿no? Entonces, claro, y son unos calores tremendos. Yo dije, uy, qué rico que la menopausia me pasó, para mí fue easy, ¿ok? Cuando en estos días esos calores yo dije, todavía no se ha pasado. Entonces, bueno, es algo chistoso en la casa, ¿no? Porque todos... Yo casi que hasta me quito la ropa ahí delante de todos porque no aguanto.
Contento entonces.
Pero bueno, en cuanto a la edad me encanta porque, mire, yo por lo menos con mi madre estamos yendo todos los días al gimnasio. Y me gusta porque bien. Nosotras nos soportamos. Yo le digo a mi mamá, gracias, porque todos los días me dice, mija, vamos a ir al gym. Claro, madre, vamos. Entonces a mí me encanta verla a ella allí haciendo su gimnasia. Y bueno, sí, para sentirse uno feliz, saludable, todo, no solo por la figura, pero sí por la salud, que es muy importante. Y como yo hago tanto trabajo sedentario, de verdad que sí lo necesito. Y bueno, sí, las cremitas que uno normalmente ve, y yo por ahí veo, ahí le compré yo no sé cuántas cajas a un doctor, y yo digo, bueno, si eso sirve para la piel y todo, y verse uno más lindo, ¿por qué no? Claro que sí.
Right. So I love that you mentioned menopause. So I remember being in my 30s and 40s and people talking about menopause. I'm like, oh shit, when I'm at that age, what's going to happen? So I'm okay with it because I know I'm somewhat going through it. I have those moments, like Eliana said, that it's like, oh my goodness, it is so hot in here, But it's not as bad as, I guess everybody's different. It's not as bad as I thought. And one of the things that we have to realize as we're getting older, we're blessed, right? Mm-hmm. Because not everyone got to celebrate the 20th, 30th, 50th, 70th birthday, right? Absolutely. So, I have one of my best friends passed away a little bit over a year now, and he was only 52, So just to think like, wow, that's it. That was his time here. Now turning 53, actually he was 51 if I'm not mistaken, but now as I'm turning 53, it's like, okay, I'm still here. So I'm here, and I think there's still a purpose.
Yeah. So where I'm from, a lot of people don't even grow up to be the age I am. I'm about to be 38 this year in 2 months. A lot of people don't even make it that far, like through like gang violence and just all the things that like occur in life, right? And so I think it doesn't make me nervous. What makes me nervous is everyone around me being like, so are you going to get married and have kids yet? And I'm like, ooh.
That also comes with aging. That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the worst part of it. Everything else, I feel like I love it. I mean, like life is life in no matter what we do, and so I just keep life in with it,
I love it.
It really is a gift to get past that because we're coming up on 2 years now since Danielle passed away with she was only 37, breast cancer. So every day is a gift. Celebrate every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we go into our goodbyes and our farewells to the next time, I have a very important question. Very, very important. Eliana, you mentioned we have those regimens, la cremita, those creams now. Anybody else has anything they want to share?
No, I mean, I just stay active. I make sure that I'm constantly in movement. I've noticed that a lot of the friends that I've grown up with complain about a lot more pain than I do. And one of my friends just recently had a stroke, which is crazy that they're in their 30s and having a stroke. So taking care of myself has really helped me along the way as far as like just staying active and always just doing something.
Absolutely. And definitely being active, right? Keeping your mind occupied. So I saw Eliana's mother over the weekend. And one of the things that I mentioned to her, I was like, she looked like an executive. She was giving orders and, telling this is over here. I'll get that. I saw her different. So now that you share that she's going to the gym, I see the difference. So it's very, very important. So ladies, any piece of advice that you would like to share, for those that might be struggling with the aging process?
I'm going to say keep fighting. That's just my go-to.
Okay.
And I'm going to say just, you know what? Every day is a gift and have gratitude for every day.
Beautiful.
Así es, ser felices todos los días, darle gracias a Dios, tomar mucha agua.
Yep.
Agua, muy, muy
Agua.
importante. You have to drink water. So, Eliana, su cumpleaños en marzo, ¿cuál es su signo? Pisces. Okay. Como mi papá es el 18. El 18 de marzo. What's your sign?
Aries, my birthday's April 5th.
Oh, snap. April 4th. Oh, está bueno. Oh, and things have to be done now.
Yes.
You can never call me. Let me know if it happens to you. You can never call me. I got something to tell you. Okay, tell me. I'll see you later. Ooh.
It freaks me out. I'm like,
No,
oh my
you
God,
need
no,
to
you
tell
have
me
to tell
right
me
now. Yes. What's your sign?
Virgo.
I don't know much about Virgo. What's their...
We constantly look for perfection.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Constantly seek for perfection.
Aries, we're perfect already.
Yeah.
On that note, let's
On
take a
that note, I
break.
think it's time for us to go listen to some music.